Hi, loves. Okay, so for a while, I've been thinking that I should do an unboxing because I've been buying new decks. I've been really blessed and I've been able to buy some new decks. And I've been showing some of them through the tarot talks. I have done a few readings with them, but I thought I could do an unboxing. So the first one I'm starting with is this one, the Deviant Moon Tarot. Super arty, super cool, super excited to have this deck. Now, I have not done a lot of readings with it. I read for my lovely cousin. I did my first reading for her, so I had not ever read with it, and I just blindly read for her. Very super powerful reading. I've done a reading for myself, and that one blew my brain. I'm finding when I work with this deck that it really gets to the heart of things. With the moons on the different cards, they're always part light and part dark, just like our moon, right? Hasn't she taught us that whether we're in darkness or whether we're full, we are always complete? Anyway, I have found that the readings have very much gotten to the very deep hearts of matter, the very deep hearts of the matters that I'm asking about. And the deck seems to, when you're reading with it, highlight the, I don't know if I want to say subconscious, or if I want to say shadow, or if I want to say the deep feeling part of things. So let's open it and look at it. Okay, now this is my first unboxing, so I hope we do it well. It is in order. I put it in order the other day. Oh, I dropped a card on. Okay, so I did put it in order the other day. Yeah, so let's have actually. Okay, so here we go. We've got the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, and the Hierophant. Wow. Love how many hands the Magician has. Very, very, very cool. The Empress is not our usual succulent, full-bellied mama goddess. She does have multiple breasts, so that could be depicting that. I do love this beautiful flowery tail she has. The Emperor, a little bit of his shadow aspect there with crushing those under him. And the Hierophant. This is gotta be the coolest deck, right? Right? Okay, next batch we have the Lovers, the Chariot, Justice, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, and Strength. Interesting that they chose a male person for the Strength card. Traditionally, it's a female. That's a really neat rendition. I think the only other deck I know that I have with a male as the Strength card is the Mythic Greek Tarot, where it's Hercules. Hermit. Interesting how typically the Hermit is someone who teaches you and is a teacher. And this one looks a lot like trauma, doesn't it? A lot of trauma here. Justice. Look at the hand of Justice. The Lovers, very cool. Very cool. I can definitely see that shadow aspect of desire and sexuality. He looks like such a prisoner in that to me. I don't know. Wow. Amazing. I'm like speechless going through this. This might not be the most talkative YouTube I've ever done. I'm just taking it in. Wheel of Fortune, again, very, very cool. This is a wild deck. Wild! And every one has a, well, I think he's like a dark moon, but there's the moon there. Every face, I thought, had a moon on it. like this, like the Justice Moon face, where you've got a crescent moon and then the sleeping aspect. Oh my God, so cool. Okay, the next batch is the Hangman, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, and the Star. Interesting that Death doesn't have, it's the only one without a label. Isn't that interesting? I love how she's pregnant. And that it is a horse's skull, really reminding you of like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, or the Black Riders from Lord of the Rings. Temperance is a blue moon, hey? Very cool. This texture to her wings, also very cool. The Devil, the Tower. Usually the Tower is like the most dramatic card I have in a deck, and this deck is so dramatic that the Tower doesn't seem like much. There's quite the death ray coming from the moon, and look at that, it's like some kind of wild eyeball eclipsey thing happening. Super cool. And Temperance. Look at her toes. Love it. This kind of looks like open-mindedness to me. I don't know why with the hair it seems open-minded. All right, the last set includes the moon. Look at that. It's Punch and Judy. The sun. Judgment. And the World. I'm going to love a mermaid as the world. I mean, I love water. I'm always in it. Super, super cool. I love it. I love how it's 2 men in the sun too. That's really cool. I'm just floored with the art. I love how these 2 look very similar, right? Just how we have like that moon, the sun, and even look where Judgment is. Like these 3 sure are quite the triplet, aren't they? Not sure if that's a baby or a dog. I guess it's a baby. Oh yeah, it's a baby. Here's its legs. They don't look like they wanted to be woken up, hey? Okay, so sorry. Again, first time really, really looking and diving into this deck. This is amazing. The artwork, I'm so glad I purchased this. Here we have our Pentacles. Love this dragon. I think there's a lot of themes here around scarcity and greed. This is interesting to me. The 8 of Pentacles is often about really refining your craft. And it just seems to me in this card like the ideas of industrialization, just that the abundance doesn't seem to be there, right? There seems to be a lack of feeling of abundance, even looking, well, I mean, our 9, our 10 and our 9, okay, but everywhere else there really seems to be an idea of greed and scarcity right after the 3. And I mean, typically the 4 of Pentacles is about, you know, that idea of scarcity and challenging that. And the 5 is often, you know, about being left in the cold. But it's funny to me that the 8 still, even in the abundance of his industrialness and how much he's working, there is just this dark theme there where it doesn't look like he can appreciate anything he has. So interesting. She's beautiful, hey? Would you take a look at her? Very beautiful. And I like these artists working away at their craft. And everyone kind of working on each other in a collective, I guess. Here is our suit of wands. So beautiful, the energy in the ace, just that idea of the beginning, planting your ambition, really working at it and growing it, and choices and nurturing from your own self, your craft and your whatever it is you're growing, your garden, right? Love that. Lots of sense of security in that 4. The 5 is probably one of my favorite depictions of a 5 of Wands. Typically, you see this kind of dreaded conflict in the 5 of Swords, but here it is in the Wands as well. And again, usually the 7 of Wands is about swiftness, right? Speed and swiftness and things changing quickly, and she looks more trapped. We still have the prodigal son over here on the 6th. Hardship in the 9. And even the 10 doesn't look as victorious as usual. Often it talks about having things worth fighting for and reaching a long-term goal. It really kind of makes me think of he who dies with the most toys win. Just the expression on his face. The art is again stunning. Love it. Ooh, I knew the swords would not disappoint, hey? Now the swords, we often dive into this airy suit when we're really battling with our humanity and all of our great things that we struggle with as a human. Look at the heartache one. I love that. That's probably my favorite depiction of this. Just so beautiful. I love how she has 3 legs too. Super cool. Here we have that 5. Remember we were looking at the wands, we talked about that battle. It's interesting that these 2 cards, their kind of ideas a little bit flipped, hey? Picking up from the battle, and he just loved the tongue out, just like the loss is worth getting back at someone, right? The cost of revenge. The ease of the 6, 7, right? Look at the little thinness of the wire. Lots to say about trust there. The 8. The 9 is beautiful. The haunting nightmares of the 9 of Swords. How we keep ourselves prisoners in our own fears. And the trappings of our mind. Oh, I do think even though they're very heavy themes, it's illustrated with a lot of compassion for the human condition. I sure feel sorry for this 4 of Swords. Even the 9 of Swords, right? A lot of compassion. So much expressiveness in that face. And the demon on his back. Or monkey. Whatever. Beautiful. And the cups. Well, when it is celebratory, it is celebratory. Look at these silly little littles in the boat. That's so fun. Camaraderie and just balance and love. And interesting that the 5 has the scolding, right? I could see this card coming up when someone has an inner critic or ancestral trauma. Like, look at that, just like carrying on, just the pain we carry inside of us. The idea of loneliness and loss, but still you have that idea of reflection, right? Choosing what to let go of. Look at our happy little moon family. This is a cool card. Learning to walk away. Beautiful depiction of it. Punch and Judy at the 6 again. I could see this card coming up when people are in relationships that are not as they appear, where their inside thoughts and what they project to the outside world are not the same. I do love the 2. I think this is a much more balanced idea of love than the Lovers card in this deck, right? She almost looks like a child, just celebrating the rebirth from the skull, right? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The reds are so vivid in this. When they do put blood in the chalices, they're very, very vivid. It's water in the chalice here. I wanted to put out our court cards as each court together on the table, but my little table's too small. So we'll do them two at a time. So we've got the Wands. Very interesting depiction of the Queen of Wands. Look at how she's got her feminine on one side and her masculine kind of on the other side, right? Very beautiful idea. The king is definitely in charge of lots of things. It's interesting to me that I see those little guys as children, though. He seems like a very demonstrative king of wands, which is not something we often associate with that fiery king. I'm not sure what I think about the knight yet. What is this knight riding? This one's riding a horse, and he's riding like a cockroach. I do like the page, though. Then our King of Swords. Oh, our Queen of Swords is very sad. Yeah, that's interesting. Often she's full of compassion, but she's balanced. She doesn't quite seem as balanced here. I like how she really kind of reminds me of like the Queen of in Alice in Wonderland, Off with Her Head. Really makes me think of that with the super redness and the blood and everything. Oh my goodness, I'm talking away like she's a Queen of Cups, and she's not. She's a Queen of Swords. Very interesting that she's depicted in a state of sadness and lamenting and kind of like sad about what she has cut down and sewn down, almost regretful. Interesting. Our swords are usually much more reserved. These are definitely, I think these are almost shadow aspects of how we see our court cards. Look at our Knight of Swords. Very, very full of almost anger. Look at the page. Giving you a message right from the mind. Super cool. Okay, let's look at the other court cards. Okay, Cups. This one reminds me of that Chariot card, doesn't it? I think it's cool how our page has a pet fish. Very cool. The Cups seem more reserved and less emotional than the other court cards we've seen, which is interesting to me because Cups are typically our emotion, right? Control in the flow. I like how they're all on the beach. And then our Pentacles, very regal, very industrialized. Look at Mama Pentacle. Look at her abundance there. All her little squags. Look at how he's got industry on his crown. Again, kind of that idea of the Chariot in the Knight of Pentacles. More so than the Knight of Cups. I think it's just the helmeting that made me think of that. Wow. Quite the characters we have in our court cards in this deck. So there you have it. That is the Deviant Moon Tarot. Most stylized deck that I have, probably. I'm super, super excited to hear what you guys think after walking through that. It's going to be fun to start reading with that. Wow. I'm like, my little brain is blown, super blown. Like what a deep and beautiful deck. The artist has gone to such lengths to depict all of these beautiful, I dropped one, all of these beautiful cards. And the texture of them, it really feels like, it's probably computer made, I don't know, but a lot of it really feels like they cut out different pieces of fabric and overlaid them, especially when I was looking at the especially when looking at the wings in some of the high arcana, like on the devil card. Like, it really does look very textured in there. There's such a depth. That's the other thing I want to just say. There's such a depth to the actual artwork. It really does appear very three-dimensional. Like, there's layers within the card. Like, even if you look at our King of Wands, how these little guys look pushed back and you can really see everything. I do think he's my favorite King of Wands. Just saying, of all the depictions. I think I'm going to be doing some more unboxings and going through tarot decks like this. It's fun. They're neat. I'm here because I love the art of them. It's my favorite part about tarot, is looking at the artwork and how you can have different depictions of the same card by different people. To me, that's what really sets the tarot apart from the oracle cards that we read. So babies, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. What are your impressions on this deck? Do you think it'd be fun to read with? How do you think your readings would go if you read with it? Fans of the Deviant Moon, I know there's a huge following of this deck, people who just super, super love it. Let me know if you liked my unboxing, and let me know how you find some of the cards. If you've been working with this deck, let me know. Put a comment down. Let me know how you find working with this amazingly artistic and deep and diverse look at the tarot. Okay, as always, please subscribe, click the little like button, leave a comment. You can catch me on the social medias. I am under @SpriteMadeSoaps on TikTok and on Instagram. And as always, there is my podcast, which drops on the full moon and the new moon. It is the Witching Half Hour or So. We get into lots of tarot stuff on there, lots of witchy woo, and I hope to see you soon. Bye, babies.